in the hardship in the beginning, that was right in the first, second, third week in the corona. That was when we needed it. We paid him, and then he started with the 415,000, which we know we never did. We've paid everything up front. We were waiting for the product, and after that, he started with 415,000. So he didn't care whether people die. He didn't care whether we need it or not. And you know what? I spoke to so many other the people that's importers, and they say this happened in 25 years that they're working with China. It's the first time that it ever happened to them. Okay, we are a private institution in South Africa. And during the COVID stage, as a non-profit organization, we have been granted money to buy PPE. In this case, it was surgical masks. We then sourced through all companies, and we got to CIMC, where they informed us that they are one of the biggest PPE distributors and manufacturers, because they are a CIMC worldwide company that produces now masks, and therefore, due to the the global status of this company, we have decided to go with them. We contacted them. We phoned him and said, listen, we want to place an order of 415 to up to 5 million. However, because we don't know you, we want to make sure that you are reliable, and therefore we're only going to place an order for 414,000 masks. Then he started, I've got the documentation here. It's just bad that I can't show you, but I think you can be able to see this if I do it. So yes, this guy then pushed us, and on the documentations that I will send you, he acknowledges the fact that he made a mistake where he said 415, and I made it so many times clear via email, via WhatsApp, that he is wrong. We only ordered 200,000 masks. We paid for it in full because he pressured us like nobody's business in order to deposit the money. When we deposited the money, he told us that he sent the 200,000 masks to the airport, but he received a late payment. Therefore, he recalled the 200,000 back to his location. I said to him, okay, but please provide me with the label, provide me with the, with the airline that you send it to, and provide me with the stock, bonded stock warehouse. He couldn't provide me with any of those. Then another thing is, I asked them, after 200,000 masks, please show me the product and show me the boxes that they are in. The only thing that he could done is he wrote my name on all the boxes where he said John Melvin, but he never opened the box where I wanted to see the product. So that was also a problem. Then all of a sudden he jumped and he sent an invoice to say, but we ordered 415,000. I said, you know what? We said we want 200,000 masks as a trial order. We have paid for everything. We have paid for the courier. We've paid everything. Send it to us, because that's what we've been paid for. We are a non-profit organization, so we supply people who cannot afford a mask. Then he said, no, but we signed a contract for 415. I've got the contract where there's no stamp on it. And as an importer, we put the stamp on all our documents. There's a handwriting that's been fabricated. That's not mine. I said to him, listen, but you are choosing money over, people's lives. You don't want to send us masks. We've paid for it. It's money that's been sponsored to us. You cannot keep our money. You cannot keep our masks. Then he says, pay for the 415 that's outstanding and I will release the stock. I said to him, no, we cannot pay for something that we've not ordered. Then, as I said, I went through all the documentation, and that's a total confirmation that he is aware that we only ordered 200,000. We've paid for the 200,000, and we are still waiting for the 200,000. Excuses like, he has a loss because he already manufactured 415,000. The other thing is that nobody else wants to buy the 415,000. Then, after various phone calls, after people in China, one of our suppliers, they actually phoned him and said, listen, can we come and view the stock? Then Mr. Melvin will maybe pay it. Then he didn't want to allow them. He says, no, you're not going to come into our factory. Okay, so that's worrisome. Then they phoned him and said, listen, we want to buy stock. They posed as a client. And he said to them, no, we do not have any stock available. So it says to me, let's say he did have the 415,000 masks. Why didn't he then sell it to those people? So it been carrying on, and we said, you know what, you dishonest. You took, you are a direct, responsibility for people who had COVID-19, and you deliberately said you want to make more money. You didn't care about the 200,000 that we paid for. So because of your greediness, you kept it back, and we were unable to service the people that has got no money, even not can afford a mask. You took those privilege away from them. And he says, I don't care. He's literally, there was nothing from his side. So he's a very cold-hearted person. To us, he's a fraudster. We made it definitely clear. Even some of the companies that we've asked, please help us, because we're in South Africa. The travel restrictions, we cannot go there. Otherwise, we would have gone there and opened a case and go to the police, and hopefully they could help us. But he knows for a fact we cannot get there. If I phone him now, he puts down the phone. He doesn't want to speak to me. The only thing he says is pay for 415,000 and then I'll send it. And I said to him, okay, let's say we do this, which we're not going to do. I tried to catch him out. Let's say, we pay for it. How can we trust you to send the 415? We've been already through this. Do you really think I'm going to pay for 415 if you don't send this? You're only gonna take money from us. And then the other thing that was skeptical, we phoned the bank and say, please stop the money. And then the bank came back to us and say this the same day that the money reflected, he withdrew all that money, which didn't make sense, because if it's a business transaction, why do you draw all that money? So my only conclusion is that they do not manufacture it. They get agents to bring it to them, and then they sell it for money up market, which I don't even care. I mean, that's his problem. Just don't be honest. Don't take money that's belonging to a non-profit organization to the poor, and do what you're supposed to do. So his whole argument was that he cannot sell. Due to us, there's a loss. He cannot sell anything. So last week, we got a colleague that contacted him via Made in China. And he posed and he said, listen, we want to buy some of your masks. And they asked questions. He gave the price, exactly what he did with me. And he asked, do you have stock available? And he says, unfortunately, we do not have stock available. But if you phone me the next week, and luckily that's all, I printed everything. Luckily, he said to him, no, we do not have stock. But if you phone me next week, I will be able to provide you with stock. So if that was true, that we caused him a loss of 415,000, couldn't he sell it to this party? And then he went to the next phase, our colleague, and he says to him, when last did you export any masks? And he back then says, last week, August. So then my question was, he said 350,000. So my question was, couldn't you sell then, if there was a loss, couldn't you sell that in order to make up the loss? The so-called, what we have in your store, why couldn't you sell it then? But with all the evidence on hand, he's not telling the truth. He's not a manufacturer. There's no other better word to use. He stole our money from a non-profit organization. He doesn't care. He's rude. He doesn't, find a midway to say, listen, I understand. I am still busy exporting. Let me export that. Let me refund your money. It's the right thing to do. It's the only thing to do. So he is pocketing, it's in our money, it's almost 50,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money. And I'm sure he's pocketing it and he's trying to, make it as his. And then he sent a document, that exact document that I said it's been signed. And he said, we fraud the document. And I said to him, how can I fraud a document that's for my own money? It's our money. So why would I do a document? Why will I fraud a document that's my money? Yes, and then he stopped communicating. He doesn't want to talk to people, e-commerce. We even tried to contact the embassy. The embassy answered us once in an email, and then they disappeared. They never answered our calls. They never answered our emails. So I questioned, why did they disappear even after they got all the evidence? Made in China, the big, huge website. They phoned us once. We gave them all the documentation that we have on hand. Why are they continuing? Why don't they remove him from the website? In other words, they know he's a scammer, but they continue keeping him on their website. And people actually got sick. People got sick because there was no money for the poor people to give them masks. So we didn't know. You can think for yourself. We in South Africa, we cannot travel there. There's a shortage of masks. What do we need to do? And due to all the chaos, he was sitting in relaxed, on his chair, knowing for a fact, whatever. Hopefully they're going to forget about us. So let me spend the money. However, he couldn't once showed me any evidence that our product is in his store. Not once. I've asked him so many times, just show me the product, write my name on one of the masks. Then we know at least you have the product. Up until today, he couldn't do that.